Welcome to No Stigma. So, hello, Mary.
Hello, Aria.
Welcome to No Stigma.
Thank you.
So, we're going to actually, before going straight in, we
Mm.
have a tradition where we have to check in with ourselves.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to see how you was doing, how your gut is feeling, how's your heart, how's your mind, how are you?
Okay. So I'm feeling a little bit emotional today,
Oh,
but I think it's
really?
because I'm like PMSing, so that's
Mm.
about to start. My body's about to, do the woman's thing.
Okay.
So I think that's why I can feel my emotions, up and down.
You're
You
feeling a
know.
bit like,
Yeah.
okay. So, you know that, the discussion that what we're discussing today is sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And I remember me actually speaking to you about this in a podcast, and you was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because
Resistant.
there was a lot of resistance. I was like, but so many, and that's what it is, because a lot of people, I think it's 1 in 3 people actually would experience sleep paralysis in their lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know, sleep paralysis is basically when your body is unable, whilst you're either falling asleep or at a stage that you're waking up, your body can't move
Yeah.
and you can't speak. So it's like in between, like awake.
Yes, your mind is
Yeah,
awake, your body is paralyzed.
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I know that people would experience that once in a lifetime,
Yeah.
sometimes even twice in a lifetime. But with you, from what I know, it's the fact that you actually experience it quite chronic,
Yeah.
which makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm gonna dive in straight in. So I
Okay.
just wanted to know, um, do you recall or can you recall the first time that you actually experienced having a sleep
You
paralysis
know what?
episode?
I actually can't recall the first time. I just know that it started around when I was about 12 to 13.
Okay.
So, and because I remember that because I was in like year 8 or year 9 around that age. And I remember when it started to happen, I got a bit worried. So I actually had a nurse come into school to speak to me,
Mm.
but that didn't do anything.
What was the nurse saying?
So the nurse kind of felt I had just like the nurse just said it's something that happens sometimes, but
Mhm.
there wasn't anything like didn't dive into it too much, and I felt like her reception to it was kind of brushed off, so I just didn't see her again, anyways, kind of
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, and then from that, like from 12 to 13, I had it um yeah, multiple times a week for a long time.
Because now it's become, because if it's chronic, it is a sleep disorder,
Yeah, it's a
right?
sleep disorder, and I've spoken to doctors and stuff, and they've given me what they believe it is. Yeah,
Okay.
which
What did
is
they say it
it's
was?
called recurrent
Okay.
isolated sleep paralysis, which is when you get it multiple times, um, like within a week, multiple times within a month. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna go to that's it.
Yeah.
So take me through an episode,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So like you said, it's in between sleep and being awake. Like
Mm-hmm.
your mind is awake, but
Yeah,
your
your
body is
mindset.
paralyzed. So yeah, just walk for people that I haven't
Yeah.
personally. I mean, professionally, I've worked with people that had sleep paralysis,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never experienced it personally, and
Yeah.
I
Never.
hope I don't
God
get to
willing, you won't.
experience it, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, walk us through. What does that look
Okay.
like? How does that feel
So
like?
so it can be very different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done a lot of work for it to be better than it was at the start. So at the start, it used to be very like volatile. Like I'd actually when I'd first have it, I would like my body would be like fully paralyzed. I wouldn't be able to actually like move any elements of my body, and then also there'd be kind of things happening around me. So
So
then
your body becomes completely paralyzed,
yeah, and my body's fully paralyzed
and you're awake.
and I'm awake. So
So are you
basically,
conscious?
yeah, I'm
So
conscious. So I'm
okay.
basically speaking to myself like, oh, I need to get out of this. Like I'm paralyzed. I can't move my body. I can't move my arms. I can't move anything. I can't feel anything. And I'm have to like in this space where I have to try and wait for my mind and my body to align. But
Mm.
like before I wasn't able to like kind of like move my neck or move my arms. So I'd kind of have to sit in that. And but whilst that was happening, I'd also unfortunately see, like which a lot of people who have sleep paralysis, they see things around them, which is something which I don't like to talk about because
Mhm.
obviously there is a stigma, like,
Okay.
you know, people, yeah, there's a stigma
So
about it.
a lot of people say that is hallucinations because
Yes, hallucinations.
so from what I heard with some of the clients that I worked with,
Yeah.
a lot of it are figures.
Yeah.
So they're either shadows. The thing I hear the most common is male figures.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like almost like a supernatural presence in a way, like as if someone is
Yeah.
significantly like someone is in a room.
Yeah.
But research says that is hallucination. But you did say that there
Yeah.
is a stigma around it. So what is that stigma?
The stigma around it, I'd say, from if you go from a religious point of view,
Hmm.
is that like, you know, I've had people who are like Muslims and other people who say it's something called jinns,
Hmm.
which are like negative forces kind of in your space that obviously if you pray against, it won't be in your space. But you know, for a long time it was like I did see loads of shadows and I did see things coming towards me. And the problem is when you have sleep paralysis, it's hard to differentiate the reality. So it does feel like you're stuck somewhere and there is this figure there, and like it's really hard to know if that's real or not. But like it
Does it
feels
feel?
real.
It
It
feels
feels
real.
so real. And the reason why, like, it's for me, they stopped, like, in recent years, it stopped being figures, and actually just became people. So,
With and these people, they have faces.
yeah, like,
They
as
actually
in,
have
so
faces.
it became when I had been paralyzed and I had hallucination, I might see, let's say my mum walks in my room, but say this is hard, this is why it was really hard for me sometimes when I get paralyzed and I have hallucinations in that, is because like let's say my mum actually did walk in, like this is real, like my mum walked in and she's like, "Are you okay?" But I'm sleeping, um, I'd be like, I'd think that I'm like, okay, so she walked into the room, yeah. But then there might, and then I'd like awaken from my me getting paralyzed. And I said to mum, "Mum, did you come in my room?" And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, I did." And I said, "Did you say this?" And she said, "Yeah." But then there'd be other times where my mum might walk in my room, and I'm like, "That's definitely her. She's walking in my room." But then I wake up, and it's like I come out of my episode, and it's not. Yeah, so
Okay.
and that happens. That's what's been happening a lot recently. Then back before it used to be dark entities and more like those figures and stuff. But now it's hard for me to differentiate the reality of now, here, and hallucinations.
Let's go back to the figures
Mhm.
that you see. You said that they felt like you said bad entities, or
Yeah, it
did you
felt
say demonic entities or
no
bad
dark
entities? Dark
entities.
entities.
Yeah, and
So
the
why
thing,
were they dark entities?
because it was a shadow figure, like it
Okay.
there's no face, but it's like kind of like a shape.
Mhm.
And then
What was the shape
it's hard to know, but it's like outline. It's like an outline. It's
of
like
a
it's a
body?
foggy outline. No, there's times where been like an outline of a body, but most of the time it feels like it's like a foggy thing coming towards you.
Mm. A
And then
shadow
yeah, and
almost.
then it's like even though my eyes are closed, I'm still trying to like close it so it doesn't actually come to me.
Does it come to you? Has it ever come to try to come to you
Yeah, like or to sit on my chest.
to sit on your chest?
Yeah, and that's when you kind of feel a bit like, oh, like
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Has it ever these things that you hallucinate or you see? Um, do they say anything? Have it? It's
No.
never verbal.
No, it's not. Even though I remember when I had the conversation with someone, they said you should try and connect with them, like as in try and like be like go away or whatever, like stop, like you know,
Mm.
like actually conversate. But in the moment, because it's hard to like imagine we're humans, we're not supposed to really be exposed to like spiritual things like that. We're not in that realm. So imagine like me trying to conversate with
Mm.
something that is feels spiritual, like it feels not from this world because I've never seen anything in this world, but it feels like it is because like the wall, like when I'm paralyzed, it's the same environment as when I went to sleep. It's just now there's a figure there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm, it's
But
interesting.
it's weird because I've seen like I remember seeing one time a figure that was like human like a man, but yeah, it wasn't like shaped like a dark entity. And yeah, he was
And when
like
you say dark, is it doesn't feel
good.
good?
No,
So it's not like a feeling. The energy is not a good energy. Is
no,
what I'm saying.
not good
Okay,
energy.
it's not a good
No,
energy that
no,
you're sensing. Okay,
no.
um, and but then you said that now what you're experiencing, which makes it a bit much more difficult for you to know whether it's reality or not, is you're actually seeing the people you
People,
know
yeah,
or
literally you,
mm,
anybody like that's close to me, anyone that I
mm,
like associate with in reality, my brain tricks me a lot, and it's hard for me to be like, oh wait, but is this
mhm,
like I'll be like, no, I know that this is a trick, but then it might actually be real. So then I'm like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, so like in terms of the dark entities, I don't see that anymore, and I haven't for a long time, like years actually.
okay.
Maybe like yeah, 2 years or something. I've not seen dark entities, and if it does happen, I'd say very like rare now
Mm.
because it's like something that I did to heal myself of that.
In that moment that you are seeing whatever you're seeing, especially when you've experienced the figures,
Yeah,
um, how does that feel to know that you're kind of consciously awake, but your body can't move and you can't speak? So you're paralyzed, verbally paralyzed physically, um, but you're conscious to a certain extent. How does that actually internally feel?
like it feels lonely, and it feels like it's never gonna end because I feel like it makes me understand we're very much like we are not in control. Our body, like our mind, our brain is in control. You know, our brain tells me to move my arms, to move everything, and that's what I experience when I'm getting paralyzed because I'm like, wow, I have to actually wait, yeah,
Mhm.
for my body to align, and it feels awful because I feel like I can't breathe. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna literally die in that because I feel like I'm trapped. You know what I mean? And that's why sometimes I wonder, oh, is that how people like die in their sleep or something? Because you feel suffocated. You feel like, oh, like I just need my body. But luckily, sometimes I have because your body's paralyzed, you have no strength. So I'm trying to like move maybe a part of my leg to trying to wake up my body. So it feels very like suffocated, and I just like have to be patient with myself and be like, okay, Mary, you're going to it's going to be over, it's going to be over, even though this time might feels really scary. I have to like try and rationalize for myself like you got out 100 times, but then there's that part of my body that's like, oh, but what if this is the time that you die in your sleep, or you
Mm.
die getting paralyzed, even though like doctors have said that
You
you can't,
can't. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So
but
yeah,
you do like I feel like
your
a lot of
anxiety and
times
your
that I
fear.
will,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Which, to be fair, is a normal feeling to
yeah.
have because I know, Lord,
Yeah, and
oh,
that's why like when I'm waking up from that episode, I can like define my day, even though I try not to because it takes a lot of energy to come out of being paralyzed because you have to move a lot of your body, and it's like weight, it's a heavy weight.
mm,
It's like imagine your body's numb, trying to move that is hard. So it's like when I'm trying to move it to wake myself up, it's like actually draining me. So when I'm like come out of the episode, I feel so like tired,
mm,
and I feel really emotionally drained as well because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have this like odd sleep disorder thing. Yeah.
mm. Did anything in particular happen when you was young to sort of because with sleep paralysis, there is a link with PTSD, anxiety, um, stress in general that can trigger um, sleep disorders like insomnia, sleep paralysis.
Hmm.
Do you feel that anything happened, or maybe it didn't? But I'm just curious to know if, because I know you said you can't remember the first time, but you said from 12 to 13, was there some sort of event that happened around that time that you can remember at all?
Mm, no,
Is there?
not. Uh,
Okay.
I don't know, like not necessarily like an event. Yeah, not an event, but yeah, it's hard for me to say because I feel like just weird. Like might be to do with men, like weird
Okay.
things. Like might be that like a
Okay.
trigger. Yeah,
So something happened.
yeah, but I don't know to
Mm,
explain it.
okay.
Yeah,
Was it a traumatic event? Like some sort of traumatic event that happened around that time?
I'd not say like very dramatic. The thing is hard for me to like talk to really like acknowledge because I feel like I kind of blocked anything out. Really, like I don't know, blocked. It's like blocked in my memory from. I just remember getting paralyzed from like that age, 12, but I can't remember too much of what happened for me to.
No, because there's a reason why I'm asking you that,
Yeah,
because, like I said, a lot of, when we experience certain trauma events, that is in a way, like our trauma creates mental health conditions, and our
yeah, I
mental health
know.
conditions
Yeah,
is
exactly.
PTSD, is
Yeah,
anxiety disorder, and and our body trauma response to a certain extent, and
yeah, it
and
is.
then we have these sleeping disorders like insomnia, like sleep paralysis, and chronic sleep paralysis, and so forth. So
I don't want to like
yeah.
just quickly. I don't want to generalize because I said men, yeah, but I don't want to generalize it because I just know like I remember when I was younger there was like a weird neighbor I had,
Hmm.
and that's it basically.
Hmm.
From I remember like weird. He was a bit odd towards me, but yeah, like I wouldn't want to like go too much into that.
So that, no, we
Yeah,
don't have to go into it, but it's just good to sort of touch on things. There's always a root to
yeah, there
something,
is. Yeah,
right?
there is.
How has it been? So currently now,
Yeah.
how has it been living? Because you still are experiencing it sometimes,
Hmm.
but how is it living, having a life with sleep, with this sleep
Yeah,
disorder?
it's hard because I have triggers. So like I can't nap because if I nap, I get paralyzed. Like sometimes if I'm not on because I'm on medication now, so I can sleep with the light off. Whereas if I wasn't on medication, I couldn't sleep with the light on. Sorry, I couldn't sleep with the light off because I'd get paralyzed. It's weird, like correlations, but that's what I've learned my triggers, which is if I stay up. Say if I'm staying up late and my body is like tired and I kind of force myself, then I'll get paralyzed. So there's certain triggers I have, like no matter where I am, if I'm super tired, if I nap, I'll get paralyzed. That's with or without medication. But then like now that I'm on medication, I can sleep the light off
Okay.
and yeah. Yeah. But like, when I was saying about the figures and stuff, that doesn't happen anymore because I when I was in uni, I did a lot of study about like sound healing and I
Mhm.
listened to the frequency 432, which is earth sounds, it's earth
Mhm.
frequencies. I listened to that for like a year straight and
Did
like
that help? Like
yeah, literally I
other
can't like that's
sounds?
the correlation I have between not getting any seen any more dark entities because I literally used to play that frequency every day before I went to sleep and like during me sleeping and like since then I've not seen any dark entities or had any like dark figures. Now I literally just get paralyzed, as in like I'm just struggling to wake
But
up,
you don't
but I don't see
hallucinate.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's also to do with the medication as well, though. But yeah,
Um, is that so? What are the so those are the things that you're using to sort of reduce, and is working too?
yeah, it's working, but unfortunately, like the medicine that I'm on is giving me like bad side effects, like of memory. Like I'm struggling to remember things. Like my memory's really bad, and like I hate it because I wish that I wasn't. I wish I didn't have to be on it, but I know there's different alternatives like therapy. Like therapy is something that is big for people who have like this kind of thing. And once if you do cognitive behavioral therapy, it
Sorry,
could help
I'm
you.
only smiling because I've
Yeah,
been saying that for the
yeah, it
longest
could
with it
help
to
you. And
this
I guess
girl.
I guess with me, I want basically before I got on medication, my sleep paralysis got really, really
Mm.
bad. And that's why I was like, I can't live like this. So I was like, I'm just gonna go on medication. And the doctor recommended me. It's called sertraline, so it's like antidepressant. So you'd think it doesn't actually work for a sleep condition, but you know what you said about PTSD? It's
Mhm.
for people who have PTSD. So I think that's why it helps my link because I get trauma from like I get anxious for having sleep to get of having sleep paralysis. So it
Mm.
might be that's why it helps. Because when I was younger, I used to like didn't. I used to not go to sleep. Like I'd have like a day or 2 days where I'd actually not sleep because I'd be so scared to get paralyzed. So I feel like it also my the medication has helped me due to the PTSD. But unfortunately, the side effect is like memory loss. Like, and I'm actually feeling it. I'm struggling with memory and stuff. So I want to get off it, and that's why like I've been kind of reducing my intake. Like I had 50 like milligrams. Now I'm on 25, but ultimately I don't want to be on it. But then it's unfortunate because like when I try to get off it, then I have like feel really sad, or really down, and then I'm like, no, I can't feel like this. And also I don't want to get paralyzed again, so I'm like take the medication again. But then I know that I need to just try
Yeah.
therapy too, because like natural is always good. Like
So I feel that medication at times can be a cover up,
yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily treat the root of the problem. So it's almost like a temporary fix,
yeah,
right? I mean, and it's okay to have that. I feel like if you're definitely trying to sort of regulate and, but to be fully and solely dependent on medication without even trying to do the internal work itself, because it could easily stem from something.
yeah,
And we are, because the thing with sleep paralysis, not necessarily a cure per se, to just get rid of it completely, but you can for a while.
yeah,
And if you're having chronic, and then just say, for example, you might have that once in a year, once in or twice in two, that's massive. That's a
yeah.
massive
Very,
progress.
very, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and
so
it's unfortunate because I didn't want to do the medication thing.
mhm.
Like I didn't like that's something I'm against actually. So I'm literally like a hypocrite for myself because like in the future when I wouldn't want to actually say to people that I work
But
with.
there's not necessarily nothing wrong with it. Like, I think if you are at a
But the
point
thing
where
is,
you are having chronic
yeah,
episodes, there's nothing wrong to help you sort of regulate back.
yeah,
But it's whether you then just say, you know what, I'm just going to depend on that fully and not actually do any sort of work to kind of explore internally what may be the
yeah,
root of the problem. And I think having like CBT therapy, or
mm.
even, eh, yeah, yeah, psychotherapy is, I think, is just as
Yeah, it
important.
is. It's very important, and like even when I speaking to like the doctor, and we was having just like a good conversation about it, even that just helped me. So I know I literally know that's the step I need to do because when I did my natural approach of doing frequencies, that helped me. Like now I don't see any dark entities, and that's natural. So I know like that is the thing. It's just now, unfortunately, I got in this cycle of I have now been on the medication for a long time. It's like when I try to get off it, then I feel my mood also, and it's unfortunate. But I know I can combine therapy with that, and then
Start,
easily
you
going down.
down
Yeah,
until a point you're okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So going from what we spoke about in terms of what helps reduce your sleep paralysis, so you spoke about medication, we spoke about potential therapy,
mm,
and you also spoke about, sound frequency, like hollow sounds that help reduce that as well.
yeah.
What other solutions and things that you've tried that has helped you, whether it was a quick fix or long, or anything that you actually have heard that you're actually exploring to do?
I'd say like good sleep hygiene. So
Okay.
basically, just like have that routine, stick to your routine, listen to your body. Like my body, there'll be times my body's tired, and I'm just like carrying on, and that's when I'm gonna get paralyzed. So it's like, no, just listen to your body. Your body wants to sleep. Don't be in fear. Like I used to live a lot in fear of sleep, and so now I'm just like, okay, Mary, like it's fine. It happens, it happens. And I even avoid, like sometimes I avoid, there's a thought in my mind that's like, oh gosh, I might get paralyzed. But then I'm like, it's fine, ignore it, just keep going. So I try to like try to get rid of negative thoughts and like push it aside and be like, that's not real. That's like, just ignore the thoughts, basically. That's not all my thoughts are me. So I know to just push that aside. And then also like I'd say, yeah, sleep hygiene. So um waking up, like having your routine and going to sleep, having a good routine of like when you're going to go to sleep. Yeah.
And I'll say fitness as well, actually.
Mm.
Like being active actually helps. Because if you have a sleeping routine
Yeah.
and you actually add fitness into it, it also does help. And what I wanted to actually even highlight is when you are actually having the episode,
Yeah.
what are the things that helps you come out of that episode?
Okay.
Because I did hear, you know, that if you focus on your, because your fingertips has your the nerves, the end of your nerves. So
Yeah.
if you focus on your fingertips, then you eventually start moving your fingertips, which then wakes up, the rest of your
Yeah.
body. Um, what has helped you? Because this is again just feedback that I've got from clients.
Yeah.
So what has helped you personally
Yeah.
come out of that
So for me, I actually
episode?
don't feel like fingertips. Like I can't. My hands are like paralyzed and stuff. So I don't feel that. What I do feel is like my neck. So like my neck, this part of my neck,
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that a little bit, and then maybe a little bit of my leg. So then I just kind of like put a lot of, basically my
Focus.
mind. I tell my mind, okay, let's focus on that part of your
Mm,
body, and then I kind of like shake it. That's why I get like, if you see me having an episode, you can see my body shaking and stuff, which people have told me like my body shakes because I'm basically trying to like get out of it. I don't actually know what part of my body I'm trying to like move. Mostly I feel it's like um
neck.
my neck and my leg. But yeah,
Mm,
that's how also, if you see somebody who's paralyzed, don't wake them up. Don't try, please do not try and wake them up. Yeah,
okay.
because that will make me, I feel like, die.
Oh, that
Like,
make you die.
yeah, because there's been
So
times where,
so if you're having an episode
yeah,
and I touch you, like just tap you, like
I feel automatically suffocated because I can't concentrate.
interesting.
I'm not allowed to concentrate then, because then I'm like,
Okay.
oh God, like there's someone there. I feel like I can't breathe. I can't do this. Because when I'm like if I'm by myself in my head, I'm like focusing my energy, like maybe on my neck or wherever. I'm shaking because I'm trying to get out of it. So then if you see me, which has happened like previous boyfriends, when my body's been shaking and they're like holding me, but that actually makes me worse.
Worse.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I prefer to do it by myself, like trying to get out of it by myself. And yeah, so I just focus on
What
my,
if people? What about speaking to you? Someone speaking to you? No.
I
So
hear it, like I can hear it around
that
me,
doesn't help
but it
you.
doesn't do nothing. It just gives me
So
more
you want to
anxiety.
be left
Yeah,
alone to do you.
because I feel like
Okay.
I feel like, oh my God, like, oh my God, they're gonna try to do this, they're gonna try to do that, like, and then I get more anxious, more like, I just feel
Mm.
like, oh gosh, now I don't know how to explain it yet, but I feel suffocated, like I can't do it.
That's good. That's good. That's good to
Yeah,
know. That's really good to know.
yeah,
Is there anything else that you feel like, you know, it's a stigma, maybe it's things that we've touched on or things that we haven't touched on that you really want to sort of highlight to conclude the
yeah.
episode?
I'd say, obviously, being somebody of like, African heritage and stuff, it's hard to talk about something like this because when I have spoken about it with different people, there's a stigma of like, oh, maybe you have a demon in you, or that's demonic. And I understand, because in certain like religions, people can say things like jinns
Hmm.
and like there's a negative force and stuff. But it's like, I didn't choose to have any of that like in me. And I try to do loads of things, like, I'm connected to God. I have my relationship with God, and like I speak to him every day. So I know that I'm not
So that's
demonic. I don't have anything negative in my spirit.
mm-hmm,
Unfortunately, it's just
mm-hmm,
something which like has happened. Like
mm-hmm.
that is I don't want to say a part of me because I don't want it to be a part of me forever. But yeah, I think there sometimes can be a stigma, and that's why I literally don't talk about it. Like people don't really know I have it or anything, because I don't want people to think, oh, that's a bit weird, or like she might have like demons on her. Because I know, like, with sometimes in African culture, like it could be seen as like, like, how
Like
witches and
possessed
black
or
magic
whatever,
and all
or
these
things
weird
like that.
stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
when that's actually not the case. Like there's loads of people who get paralyzed, just not as much as maybe I do, but there's people who do, and they see the same thing I do. So then
Hmm.
what, you know what I mean?
So it's what happens to you. It's not part of you. It's what happens
Yeah.
to you. Yeah.
I understand it's hard for people to understand that because of what I saw when I first started
Hmm.
having it. But I mean, now I have it and I don't see anything. So it's hard, but yeah, it's something that I think
It's important to start
when
breaking that stigma,
because I
basically.
think when you're somebody who comes from like a religious background, or even comes from culture, you might not want to speak about it because it just seems like you've got
Mm.
something scary in you.
And
But
that's why,
it's
and that's why it's so important to do
yeah,
this like these episodes and
yeah,
highlight this, so we can actually break this stigma. Because in reality, it happens to a lot of us, and whether we
yeah,
experience once, twice, or chronically,
yeah,
it happens.
exactly.
Yeah. Right. This was really insightful. So thank you for sharing that, because I
Mm-hmm.
know you was hesitant in sharing
Yeah.
that experience. But it's so important for us to have these discussions to start breaking those stigmas so people actually can be educated and understand it better. So we're
Yeah.
able to sort of just deal with it in a much more graceful way and
Mm-hmm.
empathetic
Yeah.
way. So traditionally, obviously, as you
Yeah.
know, how we end the session is like we leave something we want to leave in a space, basically something that we don't want to carry anymore, something that whether it's today in a part, whatever we're carrying this week, something that we just want to leave in a space and something that we want to gift ourselves with today.
Okay.
Yeah. So what
So
is it that you feel something maybe you want to leave in space?
what I want to leave in the space. I want to leave fear,
Okay.
because with like people who have get paralyzed know that like there's a lot of fear in it, and I've been trying to not live life in a fearful way when it comes to sleep, because like the younger version of me was really fearful of sleep. Now I'm doing better and better, but now it's the fear to get off medication, unfortunately. So I want to leave fear and like go to the next chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to gift yourself with?
Um, I want to gift myself with patience.
Patience. I
Yeah.
love that. So, guys, thank you so much
Thank
for tuning in today. Thank you, Mary.
you.
And
Okay.
that's us out. Peace.